Put the mic down here more.
Don't tell me what to do.
Put the mic down there more. More.
It's like echoing in my ears.
I'm just not going to respond.
You're getting old.
You're getting ugly. I'm getting old, you're getting ugly. Hey folks, welcome back to another vlog. Ryan Wilson here from Predator Inc. And today I've got a really cool vlog for you. So oftentimes you look at a set of tires and they look good. They've got a lot of tread life left, and you'll see, like, let's say you're buying a vehicle online and they're showing the penny and the tread depth. That's only showing you really the depth of the tread. But more importantly than that is the actual age of the tire. Tires have a shelf life, anywhere from 6 to 10 years, depending on the manufacturer. My safe number is 6 because it's the least amount, and it's obviously one of the most important and critical parts of the safety of the vehicle. So you want to make sure those tires are within that 6-year range. Today we've got a unique opportunity to show you a side-by-side comparison between 3 tires that are outside of the date range and 1 that is within the date range, and we're going to show you what happened and how 3 of them failed and 1 actually held together, ran fairly well in a tire blowout situation. Ultimately, about 10% of all accidents are caused from bad tires. Sometimes you have blowouts and you lose control of the vehicle, you get into an accident. Other times you hit your brakes and it's not braking as well as it should be. You've got a situation where you're losing traction between the tire tread and the ground. That could be from old tires too. You could even have a lot of tire tread left on the wheel or on the tire, but what's happening is the tire is so old and so dry that it just doesn't have that grip on the ground. If you've ever had a new set of tires where you're replacing the old tires, you put on the new tires, you probably have noticed that your vehicle runs so much better. It's like brand new again. So that's where you're coming into drier tires. Ultimately, NHTSA has put out a study where about 10% of all accidents are caused from bad tires. Like I mentioned, we have a situation here today that's very unique because we had all 4 tires disintegrate at the same time. So you may not be familiar with the H1 Hummer, but the H1 Hummer has this unique system called Central Tire Inflation System, or CTIS. And what it does is it links up all 4 tires to an inflation pump or a deflation valve. So you can actually inflate the tires or deflate the tires on the fly as you're driving. If you're gonna come up and go off-roading, or let's say you're running them a little bit stiff and your wife's gonna jump in the car, you can drop the tire pressure down, soften the ride a little bit, so you can adjust and play with those tires. In this situation, what happened was we had a blowout in the front left tire behind me. And when that happened, it lost all air pressure between all the other 3. So they started feeding the air pressure into the major blowout. This truck happens to have run flats, so the customer continued driving and can drive safely, and technically it's 15 miles at 15 miles an hour max speed, and it gets you out of a situation, gets you off the highway. Customer continued driving on it, pulled off the side of the road after a couple miles and got it towed down to our shop. The 3 tires that are out of date are completely shredded, completely failed internally, externally. And the 4th one, which is within the date range, within 6 years, is in perfect shape on the outside of the tire. Now there's obviously damage done to it because it has been driven with the tire run flat. So imagine you have the rim and then you have this donut, this big rubber donut that goes around the wheel, and then you have the tire on the outside of that. When you lose that air pressure, it actually rides on the internal donut or run flat. That's what's given him a lot of security and the ability to slow down from, say, 85 miles an hour on the highway down to a safe speed and easily get off the road. But in that process of the tire failure, the single front left tire, when that one failed to the point of shutting down the vehicle, the other 3 tires were completely shredded. They were already on their last leg, about to go. but the fourth one actually looks like it's in great shape. So this is where we think the tire failure happened originally, because this is the worst out of all of them. And as you can see, this thing is completely shredded. You've got tire tread coming off of the carcass of the tire here. It's pretty bad. And also another note too is be really careful of retreads and recap. We've got an old tire, and what they do is they grind off the tread, and then they put it into a mold, and they put new tread onto it. It's called a retread. You're still running on a bad tire, so it could be outside that date range. You may not know that. An old RV that I had, pulled off the tire, swapping out new tires because I got into that outside of that date range, and on the inside I had bubbles on the inside of the tire. So you can have internal failures that you don't even know about because you are outside that tire lifespan. And again, anywhere from 6 to 10 years, check with the manufacturer. Some are a little bit longer. I just stick with 6 years. I've got wife and kids. I want to make sure my family's safe, so all our tires are replaced at that 6-year mark. And the other thing too is getting into a used vehicle. You go out and buy a new vehicle or used vehicle, and maybe they have like a penny or a nickel in the tire tread. It's showing you it's got a ton of tread left. In reality, those tires all may be shot and you don't even know it because you don't know the date code on the tire. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna show you what to look for with the date code. But in this situation, we have a very unique failure because we had all 4 tires fail at the same time. And the customer had 1 tire that was within date range and 3 that were outside. And the 3 that were outside all completely consistently failed, and the one that didn't was the one that was within that date range. So that occurred on the H1 because it has this central tire inflation system right down here. What happens is you have air pressure that comes through the center of the hub right here, goes through this little airline into the rim, and it feeds the tire. So with all 4 of the wheels linked together and this tire failing, it lost all air pressure here and immediately started draining the other 3 tires. So when that happened, they lost all air pressure in all 4 tires. But fortunately, we have run flats in these trucks, and it kept it going down the road nice and smooth, and made it very safe for him to keep his speed up and slowly drop down and get off the side of the road. Go ahead and take a look at the other rims and tires and show you what happened here. Coming to the back, this is probably the second worst. This one's right behind the front one, and you can see how it's completely separated all the way around, and it's just about to completely come off of the hub here. And then let's go around the front here. And you've got the front right tire, and very similar condition. It's still connected in this area here and down here, but it's quickly deteriorating and separating all the way around. It's pretty well shot. And then coming back to the very back, this is the one that was within the date range. And as you can see, that it's actually in really good shape. Most likely internally it's been compromised, we just can't see it. Although it does look like it's in pretty good shape from the outside, so be really careful about that. I would definitely use it in an emergency situation if I'm off-roading, I had to get out to a highway or something like that. Relatively low speeds, maybe 10 miles an hour or so. But otherwise, this tire, in my opinion, is completely shot as well. So this is what you're gonna wanna look for. Right here, this number that's molded on the tire, it says DOT, Department of Transportation. Then it has the plant that it's manufactured at. The next number is going to be tire size for their code. But what we're looking for is the last batch of numbers right here. It's at the very end of the DOT number, and it's 1417. The first 2 represents the week of the year, and the last 2 is the year. So it's the 14th week of 2017 that this tire was manufactured, well within the safety guidelines of 6 years. That is what you're looking for. So if you're buying a car, used vehicle, and it looks like there's some tread left on there, take a look at that date code on here, the DOT. It's the very last set of numbers, and that's what you're gonna be looking for. Make sure it's within 6 years. So let's go ahead and take these tires off and take a look at the internals of the tire, see how bad they look on the inside. Got the rim apart from the tire as well as the run flat, standard Hutchinson 2-piece rim. And what we have here is the tire and the run flat inside here. Now typically what you wanna do is you can compress the run flat and squeeze it together and pop it out, or you can potentially run like forklift forks down here on the edge of the tire, and then actually extract the run flat from the tire itself. In this situation, it was so far gone with the tire, we were actually able to use a pair of scissors and cut the whole outer sidewall off of the tire. You've got chunks of rubber separating out on the inner portion of the tire. This is the run flat itself right here. As you can see, it's just like one big rubber donut. You can see the sidewall is toast on it. Literally pieces of rubber inside here, completely shredded apart. So we did get a few miles on these run flats. Because of that, we don't want to reuse the run flats. We probably want to put in new run flats for the customer. It has a bead lock built into it because of the width of the run flat. Pull it back up here for a second to show you. But with this width right here, it actually pinches the tire bead in place against the rim, so it acts as a bead lock as well, like an internal bead lock. Works actually very effective, but this thing right here is probably, I don't know, 45 pounds or so, something like that. Unsprung weight, a lot of weight in these tires, and there's some other inherent problems with it where it actually separates off of the rim and starts to spin around on the rim. So your tires will go in and out of balancing. It's really annoying, but that does happen. One of the drawbacks with this run flat system. But in this situation, it got them off the road safely. Awesome opportunity to check out these 4 tires and clearly see how important it is to have tires that are within the date range, the recommended manufacturer date range. This one being 4 years, clearly inside that window of 6 years. And again, there's some that go from 6 all the way up to 10 years, depending on the manufacturer. If my wife and kids are in it, I'm running 6 years. That's kind of my marker. Anything less than that, or anything more than that, I'm replacing the tires for sure. These tires actually looked about the same as these guys when it came in on a prior visit for some maintenance work. And you can see how well these tires are intact. And this is a tire that's been run on the run flat going down the road. And here's a run flat right here. Again, I'm not a big fan of the run flats. There's a lot of inherent problems with this thing rotating around and causing some other issues. But it was run on a run flat, and you can still see this tire's clearly intact and it's very safe. Where this tire over here going flat completely disintegrated. And we're talking a tire that is 14 years old over here, 4 years old here, still intact, and this thing is absolutely shredded. So if you can imagine tire going flat on you, and when it does, it then disintegrates. Very, very dangerous situation here with these older tires. So make sure you check that date range and get tires on there that are within spec and that are safe going down the road for you, for your family, for other motorists. As always, thanks a lot for watching, folks. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and like button down below, and we'll see you guys soon.